The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Eastworks, a community of makers, artists, restaurants, and services located in the Mill District of East Hampton, where community happens. Learn more at eastworks.com. The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Hashi Pottery in 50 Arrow Gallery at Eastworks, Japanese-inspired ceramics and textiles, where every piece is handmade in the Pioneer Valley for home, ritual, or someone dear. HashiPottery.com.
Welcome to the Fabulous 413. I'm Khalees Smith.
And I'm Monty Belmonte. Later in the show, we'll hear live music from the Mammals, who are celebrating the official release of their double album, Touch Grass, with a sold-out show at the Parlor Room.
And we'll get super seasonal in our glasses with wines that match the changing leaves at Tip Top Wine Shop in East Hampton.
But first, a bit of espionage.
As explored by an award-winning author and soon to be heralded by a college campus in Chicopee.
How do we properly pronounce your last name?
Storozinski.
Like Storo Drive.
Ah, cool.
The trickier one, if you do at any point mention Kosciuszko's name, I'm the chairman of the board of the Kosciuszko Foundation, which is celebrating its 100 years centennial this year. We're giving out $2 million in scholarships to Poles and Polish Americans this year.
I love it.
That's who paid for my tuition to go to Colombia and then to Poland, by the way.
And now you're the head of that organization.
I'm the chairman of the board. So I don't know if you're going to mention it at all, but let me just run through it. The first syllable is cuz, like cousin. Second syllable is choose, like choose or lose.
Right.
So cuz, choose, co.
Kosciuszko.
See, that's the book back there. That was my book on Kosciuszko.
Khalees knows this to be true, but I am a proud member of two Polish clubs in my town of Turners Falls, even though I am of Italian and Irish descent. The St. Casimir Society and the St. Stanislaus Society. And it's right next to the church, Our Lady of Czestochowa, which if you look at how that is written and think of it as English, there is no way that that is how you would think to pronounce it. But over the years, I figured it out. And one of my best friends, his last name is anglicized to Kriskowski, but even my the Siri in my car now reads it properly as Tchaikovsky. So we're all learning our pidgin Polish.
That's great. No, but Kosciuszko was just an incredible. I'm actually being interviewed next week by CBS Sunday Mornings.
Oh, cool.
They're doing a segment about him, and he was a Polish general who fought in the American Revolution. He won the Battle of Saratoga. He built West Point. And after the revolution, he became friends with Thomas Jefferson and said, you wrote all men are created equal and you have enslaved Africans. So here's my salary from the revolution, 8 years. It was like $15,000. Use that money to buy me slaves, free them, and leave enough money left over to buy them land and farming tools so they can make their own living in this country and not have to rely on you.
That's amazing.
And then he went back to Poland and started a revolution to free the peasants of Europe, because indentured servants were basically slaves too. I mean, it wasn't as vicious as slavery, but whatever you grew, you had to give to the landlord. And so he started a revolution there to try and end serfdom. And I'm pretty excited about this CBS segment about him.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Raised by World War II exiles in New York City, Alex Storozinski grew up with fragments of his family's extraordinary past. Through years of research and reporting, he uncovered remarkable truths.
His paternal grandfather ran a 1930s spy ring. His father worked as a World War II spy.
His maternal grandfather commanded tanks and assassinated German officers during the Allied invasion of Italy. His brother secretly worked with the CIA on perilous Cold War missions.
Alexander Storozinski's memoir, Spies in My Blood, Secrets of a Polish Family's Fight Against Nazis and Communism, has won high praise for its blend of personal discovery and hidden history and Cold War intrigue.
And this Sunday at 2 p.m. at Elms College Library in Chicopee, a free event, Secret Spies and Survival with Pulitzer Prize-winning author Alex Storozinski, who joins us right now. Thanks so much for joining us on the Fabulous 413.
Thanks for having me. I think you told the whole story. I think I don't think there's anything else I can...
We mentioned nothing about your mom, which is a harrowing, amazing story in and of itself. So,
it is a good background to how this story moves, this book moves, and Khalees and I both read almost all of it, and a lot of it does pertain to your life becoming a journalist, but an awful lot of it also pertains to your family's life and your mother's dramatic escape from the concentration/death camps in Europe during World War II, and your uncovering of that story sort of later in her life, but maybe that is a good place to start. You want to tell us a little bit about your mom?
Oh, my mom was an amazing woman. She was really the backbone and the skeleton that held this whole family together. And because I was the first one in my family born in the United States, she always said, "Well, Alex is the new leaf on this family tree. He's not going to go into the family business." That's what my brother always teased me about. And for me, I thought the family business, well, they were all soldiers. Yeah, she doesn't want me to go, into the army. All right, I get it. But as I got older, I started to realize that there was a little bit more. When I was a child, I came home and I hugged my mother, and my finger went into a hole in her forearm, and she flinched. And I said, "What's that?" And she said, "Oh, well, that's where the bullet went in." I said, "The bullet?" She said, "Yeah, I got shot at camp." I said, "You got shot at camp? Did a doctor take it out?" And she said, "No, no, it's not like the camp you go to. This was a Nazi slave labor camp." And I had to pick up, dead bodies and pieces of metal from when the Americans would bomb Nazi Germany. And as I grew up, she started to tell me more and more of the horrible things that happened to her, what she had been through. They lived in this mythical place called the Kresse, which means the borderlands. And the area of Ukraine now, Lvov and Ruvna, where my parents were from, was part of Poland before the war. And my parents would talk about these lands as if they were orphans because this land was taken away from them. Her house, the house that she grew up in, her parents' house, was taken away by the Russians, by the Soviet army. And a Russian family moved in. And then when Germany attacked the Soviet Union, they bombed that house and blew up that house. So and that family was killed. So had she still been in that house, her and her family would have been killed. But what her mother did, my grandmother did, was send her 5 daughters to different relatives so at least some of them would survive. And they sent my mother to a town called Mizoch. And in Mizoch, she watched the Germans come in and march the Jews out of town. And one of the Jews was a friend of hers, Monica. And she didn't know it at the time, but the Germans took them all out and made the women and children disrobe. And they shot them all dead, and they all fell into a ravine. Hundreds of civilians. About a month after this, the Germans came into town and said to the townspeople, "Well, there's a barn outside of town with clothes in it. If anybody wants to go see if there's anything that they need, they can go have it." This was after the Germans went through and took out all the valuables. So my mother went out to this barn, and she found her friend Monica's dress. And she thought, "Oh my God, she picked it up, she smelled it. It smells like Monica." And she brought it back to the house where she was staying, and she slept with this dress under her pillow and then under her bed, thinking someday Monica's going to come back, and I'm going to give her a dress back. But then when the Germans started coming back and really killing now Ukrainians and killing Russians, she had to flee, and she fled to a town called Yanova Dolina. And in this town now, this band of right-wing Ukrainian Christian Orthodox people known as the Banderistas started murdering Polish Catholics. So she fled from that, and she was running away, and the only place she could hide was in an outhouse. And when she heard that the killers were going to come into the outhouse, she climbed into the hole, into the feces, and covered herself with leaves. And once they left, this boy helped her get out of this outhouse because she couldn't get out. And so she fled and found her mother. And the way they escaped now, the Ukrainians trying to kill them, was to get on a train, a cattle car, that took them into Nazi Germany, where they were enslaved as slave workers in a German work camp. So, I mean, what she had been through, at first she didn't want us to know me to know all these secrets, but as a journalist, the only thing I really know how to do in life is ask questions. And eventually she shared many of these things with me. And like the others in my family, my father, my grandfather, my brother, I had seen hints of all of their stories growing up. But it wasn't until they were dying that they just opened up and told me all their deepest, darkest secrets.
Well, I will caution anyone listening to this. Please tell your family your deepest, darkest secrets now. Don't wait until you're on your deathbed. We want to know you as human beings. And Alex Storozinski has told his family story brilliantly in this new book, Spies in My Blood, and it will be celebrated this Sunday at 2 p.m. at the Elms College Library in Chicopee, Secrets, Spies, and Survival.
But your story starts with you receiving a scholarship from the Polish...
The Kosciuszko Foundation.
Thank you. To go and study journalism in Poland. Considering what happens, do you feel like that initial scholarship might have been Poland itself trying to get you into the family business?
and we're talking about Poland in the pre-Lech Walesa era, the communist
we were talking
era.
Communist era Poland.
1980s.
You know, that's a very interesting take, because there's a saying in Polish that you can't cheat your genes. It's in your blood. And that's why the book is called Spies in My Blood. There's very bloody episodes, too, that come out. But all of us, there's actually a thing called epigenetics. Mm-hmm. So, for example, the children of Holocaust survivors have it attached to their DNA, this survival instinct. The descendants of enslaved Africans in America have this thing on their DNA that basically shows them how to survive. And I had this survival instinct in my blood as well, this epigenetics. I used to think it was hokey until I read the science, and it's a real study of science. So when I went there, you know, as a journalist, I went to fight for free speech. Free speech is very important to me. It always was. It always will be.
Good thing that battle's over.
Yeah, yeah, and we all have to protect free speech. We've got to. I mean, this is what the United States was founded on. This is the First Amendment. It's not the second, third, or fourth. It's the First Amendment. Mm-hmm. Freedom of speech and freedom of religion. That's the First Amendment. So I went there. And I persuaded the communist government into letting me write a doctorate about free speech. And they gave me the scholarship. But the more I dug into what they were doing and found out about their lies, they got upset. They tried to set me up. I was interrogated by the secret police. They tried to offer me money and women and cars, and I refused. So they kicked me out of the country. I couldn't be bribed, and they declared me an enemy of the state. And I later got these archives from the Polish government that exists now that opened up all of these things that the communists had done. And when I read this, I was in shock. They actually have surveillance photos that they took of me, which are in the book. They gave me a cryptonym, a pseudonym. They called me Rocky. They called my older brother Nemo. So for a while, I was thinking about calling the book The Adventures of Rocky and Nemo, but that's now just one of the chapters.
Why did they call you Rocky? Do you know?
At first, it's funny. I asked this researcher, I said, you mean like Rocky and Bullwinkle? And they said, no, we don't know who that is. They said like Rocky, the boxer.
Like Rocky Balboa.
They thought that you were tough because you stood up to them.
That's much cooler.
Bend.
I like Rocky I like Rocky the cartoon well enough, but Rocky Balboa, I mean, it's pretty cool.
I assumed it was Rocky Balboa.
Me too. The book talks about spies in my blood, and you're not technically a spy. You're a journalist, but you are also collaborating with the U.S. government, or at least giving them information about what the communist Polish government is doing. So did you consider what you were doing some sort of statecraft spy work, or did you consider it straight up journalism? Because it essentially, the truth is what we're all trying to find out, or at least well-intentioned people. Perhaps that is what spies always think that they're doing, no matter which side that they're on, but it's what we all like to hope journalists are always doing. There are very interesting parallels between being a journalist and being a spy that come out of your book.
No, that's right. I did not want to be a spy. However, I'm in a foreign country behind the Iron Curtain, where communists are trying to blackmail me and offering me money to collaborate with them. And I thought, wow, if this ever comes out, I'm going to look like an idiot. So I went to the American embassy in Warsaw, and I told them this. And I said, look, they're offering me money and women and cars. And the first thing the consul says is, be careful, because at that building across the street, there's a listening device pointed in here. Mm-hmm. So there's chances are they can hear everything you're saying. And I said, good, I want them to hear this. That's why I'm here, to report this. And then the consul says, well, we hope you're not going to take their offer. And I said, if I was going to take their offer, would I come in here to tell you about it? And he said, no, I guess not. But, you could talk to our people to see what they have to offer. Then I got really scared.
Right.
And I said, no, I don't want to talk to our people either to see what there is to offer. I said, however, there's a third path here. I'm going to continue digging into the truth and the truth about communism and trying to explain why communism doesn't work and why it's a bad thing. But if I do disappear, this is the name of the SB, was like the Polish KGB. This is the SB agent who's been interrogating me. This is where he works. The way they trapped me is they stole my visa from my apartment and said, you're in the country illegally. And so the consul said, well, they will probably say, oh, we found your visa and come get it and we'll give it to you in a public place. And I said, thank you. And sure enough, that's what they tried to do. And the consul said, never meet with them in a public place, only in the office in an official capacity, go get your visa back. So that piece of advice from our government helped me. And when they found it, I just went back and said, look, I'm told not to meet with you in a public place. So because you were going to try and take a picture of me to blackmail me. So I'm here, give me my visa back.
More coming up with Alex Storozinski as we hear more about his many fascinating experiences that led to his latest book, Spies in My Blood, Secrets of a Polish Family's Fight Against Nazis and Communists.
After which, we'll sample Argentinian orange wine with Lauren Clark and Miranda Brown of Tip Top Wine Shop and get a taste of the Mammals' expansive new double album, Touch Grass, for Live Music Friday.
You're listening to The Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
We're speaking with Alex Storozinski, whose book is Spies in My Blood, Secrets of a Polish Family's Fight Against Nazis and Communists. He will be in conversation at Elms College this Sunday at 2 p.m. at the library there in Chicopee.
This isn't necessarily directly about spies, but definitely about your adventures in journalism. I feel weird about describing it that way, but it is kind of adventures in journalism.
It does. Yeah, the book reads like adventures in journalism.
For sure. You're in Poland when Chernobyl happens.
Right.
What did that experience and seeing that fallout on the ground, like not far from the meltdown, teach you about the way that things get reported both in non-communist countries and where you were?
Well, I think that the Western media did cover it as best as they could. In fact, the Russians did not even tell Poland or any of their neighbors that Chernobyl happened. They kept it a secret. And the way the Poles found out about it was in Sweden. They started seeing, very high radiation rates, and they reported it. And then they learned about it from the Swedes. One of the things in my adventure was I got to meet the propaganda minister of the Polish People's Republic. I mean, he was essentially like the Joseph Goebbels of Poland. And he kept getting asked, when did the Russians tell you about Chernobyl? And he couldn't answer because the Russians never told him about Chernobyl. And he says to me at one point, I'm interviewing him because he's the subject of my thesis, that he's very good at manipulating the Western press. And he's going to figure out a way to change the topic. And sure enough, he comes and leaks a story to the Washington Post about the exfiltration of a Polish spy named Richard Kuklinski, who leaked the Soviet Union's plans for a first strike nuclear attack on NATO and the United States. And that's how he changed the subject. And I was at the press conference when this came out. Fast forward years later, when my brother is dying, and he admits to me that he worked for the CIA, he said, how do you think Kuklinski got out of Poland? I drove him. My brother was in the mission that got Kuklinski out of Poland with all these secrets. And I said, you knew I was at that press conference. Why didn't you tell me this? And he said, well, you weren't supposed to know, and I was sworn to secrecy, and it's better that you did know that I was involved in this.
And this is the kind of stuff you can read in this great book, Spies in My Blood, Secrets of a Polish Family, written by our guest, Alex Storozinski, who'll be at Elms College this Sunday afternoon at 2. Your life in general is fascinating. You won a Pulitzer for helping to rescue the Harlem Theater, the Apollo Theater in Harlem from corruption. You were awarded the Lech Walesa Award for your work in the media. But we are living in tumultuous times when it comes to free speech. So before we have to end our chat today, what lessons did your time, especially in communist Poland, what does it teach you that you can teach us in our times now?
It can teach us that the people will never be silenced. They can't silence us all. And living under communism, it was clear who was speaking out against autocracy and totalitarianism, and those who were afraid and supported it so that they could, have a little bit of a better living. And there was a saying, live as if you are free. Just live as if. It's like dance like nobody's watching. And speak your mind. You always have to speak truth to power. You can't be silenced. The First Amendment guarantees us that right. We are guaranteed that right. And we must always speak our minds and say what we think. And that is one of the greatest things of this country, is that we can challenge the powers that be. Unfortunately, sometimes it gets a little bit with the violence, too much with guns and everything, but always speak your mind. Say the truth. The truth will set you free.
Alex Storzinski, Pulitzer Prize winner and author of the book Spies in My Blood, a personal memoir, secrets of a Polish family's fight against Nazis and communists. Back in the good old days when we used to love to fight against Nazis, and that was a universal truth here in this country by and large.
I'm still anti-Nazi.
So am I.
Yo.
This Sunday, 2 p.m., you will be at the Elms College Library in Chicopee. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for the riveting read.
Yes.
This could have been dry and uninteresting, and it just holds you every page. It was a really good read.
Thank you so much.
You can find more on that particular event at elms.edu/events. The event is free and open to the public.
We'll hear brand new live music from a band that formed in Western Mass. The Mammals join us for Live Music Friday and to celebrate the release of their double album, Touchgrass.
After we flee for warmer climes and warmer colors in our glasses with an Argentinian orange wine Thunderdome at Tip Top Wine Shop in East Hampton.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Northeast Solar in Hatfield, dedicated to custom solar installations, electric vehicle charging solutions, and reliable long-term system support. northeast-solar.com.
Is that a poinsettia? Mm-hmm. Is it a new poinsettia, or have you been...
No, it's a poinsettia that I refused to let die.
Wow.
I just kept watering it. I was like, I don't know, let's find out what happens.
Some people leave their Christmas trees up all year. Why not leave the poinsettia alive all year?
I mean, like, they grow year round. I had one at my last job that I kept alive for literally like 8-9 years.
Great.
And got it to bloom like twice, because you have to do this thing where you keep it in darkness for a large portion of the day, or like put it in a closet for like 6 weeks and then pull it out, and it's like, okay, I'll make flowers and colors. But I haven't been able to keep one alive since.
I have just been watering it, and I had heard that, and I was like, I'm just going to let it be. It was just green, and I just kept watering it, and I didn't put it in the dark, and it just came back to life anyway.
It looks a little banged up.
Oh, it's busted, but...
Yeah, so, if you thought that we were rushing Halloween, now we're really rushing Christmas, and this is kind of like, looks like the Nightmare Before Christmas poinsettia.
She's extra punk. Leave her alone.
I love it. I love it about her. The Wine Thunderdome has returned to Tip Top Wine Shop in East Hampton with our friends Miranda Brown and Lauren Clark, and I think I've divined the theme. But tell us what the theme between these two wines is in the Wine Thunderdome, where two wines enter and one wine leaves.
They are 2 orange wines from Argentina.
So the orange was what I was gathering. I didn't know they were both from Argentina. We are about to be full on into the orange season.
It is. Yeah, I mean, it's so autumnal.
What is orange wine? It doesn't always have to do with the color in the same way that white wine is almost never white, and that rosé is often not rosé. So what is orange wine?
It is also known as skin contact white wine. It's made with white grapes, fermented on the skins, which add color, texture, and flavor.
That's how they make most red wines, but it has become more popular as of late to do the same process with white wines, letting it sit on the skin a little bit more.
But it's ancient. It's an ancient winemaking technique.
Right, so it's trendy and also ancient at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, it's vintage.
Why Argentina? Why not?
Why not?
Is it because of certain parallels in government and ways that they decide to govern their people?
Subconsciously, perhaps.
And how they went through a lot of this, and then they overcame it, and now they're going back into it again.
And somebody's come out in really vocal support of that being the case?
What are the names of these wines?
This Thunderdome is on topic. The first wine is Luna Duna. Both wines are from the Mendoza growing region of Argentina. And Luna Duna is made with mostly Muscat, aka Moscato, often thought of as a sweet wine, but this wine's dry. And 10%
Criolla Blanca.
Criolla Blanca.
Nice.
That's a hard word to say in
Yeah.
Spanish. Criolla. It also has a disco ball on the label.
It has one of the coolest labels I've seen in a
Yeah.
long time. And it looks like, is it more than 750 milliliters, or does it just look like it's big?
That looks like a liter.
Oh, it's a liter.
Oh, yeah, okay, good. Be a leader, not a follower. And I mean that in the LITER sense.
They mean business.
Yeah.
The fun thing about the label for me is it pretty much indicates that this is a party wine in the best way.
The disco ball, the fact that it's a liter, making you should share it. It's got some gorgeous, like a gorgeous illustration of some hills, the mirror ball moon, making the hills look pink and yellow and beautiful.
Super peachy colored, peach orange.
But it is orange, and it is an orange wine.
And it smells like peaches and oranges, too.
Yeah, it does smell like
peaches
both
and
of those
oranges.
things. Yeah.
There's a mineral element that I get too, but I'm not quite sure what type of rocks it is, but it rocks.
It does rock. Smells super fruity, bone dry almost.
Yeah, it's really dry, and also there's like a little savoriness to it.
This one is really, really interesting to me.
I sometimes find orange wines to be, the tannins are too much sometimes, like it's overbearing. And this is just like a little bit of grip, a lot of minerality, really good acid.
Because when you leave the skins with the juice, that's what brings the tannins out, and we're not as used to that, especially with white wines. But these are orange wines made in that manner, so sometimes the tannins can be overpowering. But not this one. Okay, wine number one once again.
You have a lot to live up to, Skin and Bones.
It's fun to say.
Luna Duna.
Luna Duna. But the second one, as you were saying, Khalees, is also fun to say.
Pile away, so I might be
Piel.
anglicizing that a little
Piel
bit.
hueso.
Piel hueso.
There you go.
Skin and bones.
There was an old woman, all skin and bones. Ooh.
This is super Halloweeny. Although the Luna Duna, what does Duna mean? Dune? Probably, right?
Probably.
Yes.
Fear is the mind killer, and fear is the little death that brings total obliteration.
This winery is a father-daughter winery that was started in 2017. And their brother drew the label and the other sister designed it. So it's a whole family affair down there. And I am to understand that they kind of spearheaded the orange wine movement in Argentina.
This smells like double creme. Like, it smells almost camembert-y.
Very cheesy?
But like creamy cheesy, like raw milk, like soft, runny cheesy.
Ooh, I'm getting a little Saint Andre in there.
Yeah.
I'm getting a giant St. Andre in there. Andre the Giant.
How does he fit in your glass?
Anybody want a peanut?
But the doesn't taste like cheese.
No.
It does not taste like you're drinking cheese. Not that I'm opposed to that. I would go there.
No, but with a nose like that, I was expecting it to be a little funkier, and the flowers is a nice surprise.
Yeah.
The grapes in this one are Torrontés, which is native to Argentina, and also Sauvignon Blanc and Chardonnay. So it's a cool blend.
That explains the tiny bit of apple that I also got on the nose.
It's also interesting that the Piel Hueso looks like it has a sunrise, and the Luna Duna has the moon. Sort of day and night wines. Daytime wine, nighttime wine.
Not for chugging.
Went right down the wrong tube for Miranda.
Right now, the U.S. and Argentina are in the nighttime, but soon we will be in the daytime again.
I love that. See? Wine makes you contemplative and hopeful.
This one's also like a little bit cloudier than the other, which is interesting.
Well, they're ostensibly, so says the text sheet, both unfiltered. But the Luna Duna is clear. It's very clear. The Pilo Hueso is very obviously not filtered.
That's another thing to keep in mind, too. Filtering. If you are a vegan, you should really look into your wines, because sometimes they use like fish bladder to filter. So technically, your wines might not be vegan. If it says unfiltered, you're probably all set.
True. I actually just spent a very long time going through all of our wines and figuring out which ones are vegan. And I put a little green V on the shelf talker.
Oh, wow.
So any of you vegans out there, you want to come by, we have a shocking amount, actually, way more than I would have thought are vegan.
That's quite the project, though.
Yeah, it sure was.
We're at Tip Top Wine Shop in East Hampton with Lauren and Miranda doing the Wine Thunderdome between two orange wines. white wines made in a red wine fashion, both of them from Argentina. Before we make our votes, what's some of the fun, cool things that have been happening here at Tip Top?
Lots of Food Truck Fridays. That's still going through, I think, pretty much through the end of October. So we've had a tent out there. We had a little tent. I think I just swallowed a bug.
This wine is no longer vegan. Waiter, there's a fly in my wine.
Just like Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I swallowed a bug.
How's it going with the upcoming election and all of the lawn signy peoples?
The lawn signy peoples?
Well, just
For the
because
East Hampton election.
everybody who wants to get elected has a lawn sign somewhere.
There's a lot of lawn signs happening in East Hampton right now. I haven't heard too much, honestly, I haven't heard too much about it.
We know that Captain Jack's Roadside Shack, shameless plug,
Shameless plug.
had all of the candidates come by there, and we will have them on at some point before November.
Khalees, can I plug your band for a second?
Sure.
The Soul Magnets are playing with the Friendship Band.
They
Is
are.
this true?
This is
I am
true.
so excited about this. Please tell us more.
So the Friendship Band, which is the rock band that's associated with Whole Children, is putting on a benefit at the Iron Horse the first week of November 3rd, I do believe. And they asked us to open for them. And so we're going to open for them, and it's going to be awesome. We're trying to figure out a song that we can sing with them. We're really psyched about it. It's
The
gonna-
Friendship Band is so fun. We went to go visit them while they were rehearsing last year, and Soul Magnets are so fun.
Once again, everyone who's annoyed at my promos can see that I actually do know how to sing.
Or where you get podcasts.
Tip Top Wine Shop is also known for its interesting flavored, mass-produced foods, usually from Asia. And usually it's like Lay's potato chips of all interesting varieties.
And all of the Japanese Kit Kats.
And Oreos, and I'm looking at Ritz crackers. What are some of the interesting, weird things you've got here now? Bugs.
We have some bugs. I got some just, I don't want to say off-brand, maybe it's on-brand in China, but a brand that nobody's heard of. But there's cilantro, there's chicken stew.
Salted egg.
Oh, there's salted egg. There's fish mint flavor.
Fish mint.
Yeah, and
It's a real herb. It is like very green. It's not very minty, but it kind of has it's like pandan. It's a little hard to describe, but it's a mint. It is an actual herb, not fish.
And I got some Tsing Tao beer flavored chips in the back
Ooh.
just yesterday. Yeah, they haven't even made it out yet, but if you ask. And we got some smoked brisket and loaded queso chips for, football season.
And these are just regular chips that you eat out of the bag. They don't have brisket on them. They just sort of taste like brisket when you eat them.
It's a bring your own brisket sort of situation.
We're back to the Luna Duna, the first of the orange wines that we tried from Argentina.
Oh, it's even more like fruity now, which is neat.
I feel like it's a little fruitier now that it's been open a little bit.
I still think it's austere on the palate and minerally. Are these comparable price-wise?
The liter's actually less expensive,
But you get more.
but you get more. It's 19 and this is 25.
Are we allowed to say prices on the radio now that the Corporation for Public Broadcasting canceled all of our funding?
I think technically yes, but I'm not sure. We'll have to ask John Sutton.
Better to ask forgiveness than permission.
Expect a lot more prices on our show.
Low prices.
Low prices.
Back to Argentinian orange wine number 2, Piel Hueso, a blend of the native Argentinian grape and some more European grapes.
Oh, there's the funk I was expecting from this.
Ooh, and now it feels refreshing.
This is weird and specific, but there's something almost pawpaw-like about this.
I can see that, and also tea.
It seems like a softer and rounder than the Luna Duna. It's a little cuddlier.
Cuddly is a good word for this, I think. Customers calling.
Oh my God.
How dare they? Okay, we've got a couple possible tiebreakers at the register right now. There's 2 of them, so we could still end up in a tie. But is anybody ready?
That's true.
Are any of us ready to vote?
I don't think I am yet.
All right, then. There go our tiebreakers. They just bought their wine. They look like they were jogging.
Fitness Fusion.
I always like to bring a bottle of wine to my fitness classes. Do you hear that? Spirit of the Heart, East Hampton.
Putting the spirit and spirit of the heart.
No more exercises. Go fetch some wine from the village.
Oh, sure. Okay, teacher.
Yeah, this is harder than I thought it would be.
Me too. I actually thought in the first round that I knew for sure which one I was going for, but the second round, a little bit of a game changer.
I feel like the Luna Duna, I want to have that with party foods like pigs in a blanket.
What about some chips that are horse meat flavored? Because you do happen to have things
I
like
think
that.
those would go pretty good, actually.
Or That or the salted egg flavor.
Anybody ready to vote here at the Wine Thunderdome, Tip Top Wine Shop, East Hampton? 2 orange wines from Argentina enter. 1 leaves.
Piel y Hueso for me.
Same.
Luna Duna.
Uh-oh.
What's
It's
gonna happen?
down to me. I was so sure at the first go-round that I was going with the Luna Duna, but how much the Piel y Hueso changed, it shocks me because knowing that you get more for less money for the first one violates my consumerist conscience. But the Piel y Hueso is interesting and fun, and these are both 2 awesome Halloween wines. If you're going to a Halloween party, both of them have a Halloween-y theme, and they're orange wine. Well, there we go. The Skin and Bones of Piel y Hueso is the winner.
Yay! Everybody wins because we drank wine. And both of these are wonderful.
There was an old woman all skin and bones.
That's Raffi. I remember this song from when I was a kid, and then I was like, wow, it's Raffi.
Yeah.
That's 2 Raffi references in 1 week when we had Mr. G earlier on.
I mean, like, he was very influential.
He sure was. Well, up next, speaking of Live Music Friday with the Western Mass-born band, The Mammals.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
Welcome back to the Fabulous 413. It is Live Music Friday, and the Mammals are with us. They are an indie roots band from New York's Hudson Valley, led by singer-songwriters Ruth Unger and Mike Miranda. Over 2 decades, this fiercely independent outfit has built a legacy of genre-defying, politically charged, and emotionally resonant folk rock.
Emerging in the early 2000s as subversive acoustic traditionalists, the Mammals blend old-timey roots with lyrical fire and magnetic force. After a period of redefinition as Mike and Ruthie, the band reemerged in 2017 and have since continued to forge music that is as topical as it is timeless.
Their new album, a double album, Touch Grass, Volumes 1 and 2, marks the band's most expansive offering to date. A lyrical wake-up call and a tender salve. The album was recorded at their humble abode music studio over 4 years.
And tomorrow, Saturday, September 27th, they'll celebrate the official release of both of those albums with a show at the Parlor Room in Northampton. That show is already sold out, so you can't go. But next Friday, they are playing at Studio 9 in North Adams, where we just were for Fresh Grass last Friday.
Yeah. Double, it's a Friday sandwich at the Studio 9 there, kind of. Welcome to Live Music Friday. Tim Morrison, Ruth Unger Miranda, Scott Malisi, Mike Miranda, and Jude Roberts, otherwise known as the Mammals. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having us. Great to be here.
Let's start with a song.
Let's dive right in. This one's called The Doldrums.
The Mammals here at the Fabulous 413 for Live Music Friday. Mike and Ruthie and Tim and Scott and Jude Raw Dog Roberts.
Oh, no.
They're playing the Parlor Room. They're playing, that's your new nickname, playing the Parlor Room tomorrow, but that show is sold out. But next Friday, you can have your own Live Music Friday with them at Studio 9 at Porches next to Mass Mocha in North Adams.
That banjo has gorgeous tone.
Oh, is that beautiful?
Yeah.
Thank you for noticing. That banjo was in my grandmother's basement in Everett, Massachusetts. It's probably built around the 1800s. It has a tubaphone tone ring. That's like a piece of metal that wraps around the inside. The neck was only this long. It was a tenor banjo, which I knew I'd never play. So my friend built a long neck for me in the Hudson Valley. So it has both family sentimental value and local roots to where I live. It's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
I kind of fell in love with the banjo when I first got to know you and your band like 20-something years ago. I literally went out and bought a banjo that I never really learned how to play. And interestingly enough, the brand name of the banjo was a Trump banjo. And I still have it.
Wow.
They make baseball bats too, and we play some pickup baseball once in a while. We have a Trump bat, and we call it "You're Gonna Be Tired of Winning" bat.
But we have the best banjos.
Oh yeah, the biggest banjos you've ever seen.
Oh no!
This band is
first raw dogging, and now this.
I know. We're so far
sorry.
off the rails. Your band is based in the Hudson Valley, but your roots are really in the 413, right? The band kind of formed here in Western Mass.
That's true. There was like a house party in the 413, and we found that everyone was looking at us while we played music, and suddenly we were a band.
And we just could never get away from each other after that. We had to get married, all that stuff.
Yeah, well, it was Tao Rodriguez, Seeger, Mike, and I. It was at Tao's house. He invited the people to the party.
Yeah.
And it was cool. Mike used to work at Fretted Instrument Workshop in Amherst, and I think Tao came in and had him fetch a mandolin off the wall one day, and they struck up a hang, and then,
He happened to come in on a Thursday when I had the place to myself. So we could play some music for each other, got to know each other. He invited me to a party at his house. I said, can I bring my girlfriend? I brought Ruth.
That was me.
Of course, you guys knew each other from the Clearwater Festival, sort of growing up together.
Yeah, if the names Seeger and Unger mean anything to you, you'll understand the lineage there, yeah.
And if they don't, that's cool, But yeah, we started playing music, and he had a couple of banjos laying around. It's funny, all this banjo theme today. Mike and I are teaching banjo and banjo uke at the Banjo Weekend at the Ashokan Center back home in the Hudson Valley. So if anyone's out there has a banjo like you, perhaps, Monty.
Get the Trump out.
Yeah, get that thing out and bring it on down. We won't judge the make, model, or ability of any banjo that shows up at Banjo Weekend. It's really going to be fun. Abigail Washburn is going to be there. Joe
awesome.
Newberry.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be an epic weekend of banjo-ness.
That's pretty great.
Monty, I would love to give you banjo lessons. Just say the word.
Okay.
We can hook this up.
I would
We
love
can
that.
make this happen.
Privately.
I mean, speaking of like awesome weekends, I saw on your website that you do something called the Hoot, and you do it in the winter.
We have a winter hoot.
So talk a little bit about the Hoot, what it is, and why you do it twice a year.
Yeah, we'd love to. Well, it's also at the Ashokan Center, same place. Banjo Weekend is happening in November. The Hoot is in August, and then this time January, last weekend of the 31st, I think, is the Saturday. The Mammals will be playing. That'll be fun. We also will have a bunch of other great bands, TBA.
Jay Unger and Molly Mason play every year. Of course.
Yeah. And it's basically like a lot of hanging out, listening to music, having good food. It's a festival. The winter one is indoors, so it's a bit smaller, a little bit a little more cozy and intimate.
We do have an ice sculptor who frequents the Winter Hoot, which makes
He's
outdoor
outdoors.
activities magical and beautiful.
Yeah.
Ruthie and I have been traveling around playing festivals for 25 years, which is kind of crazy.
Yes.
And we would play like somewhere in Oregon and thought, this community is so amazing, maybe we should move here. Or we'd go to Michigan, this community is so amazing, maybe we should move here. And we thought, maybe we should just start our own festival where we live. That's what we did. The Ashokan Center is this 385-acre nature preserve. We built a couple stages. It was just kind of tailor-made for hosting a festival. So what did we just do? We started in 2013. We do 2 a year. I can't do the math that fast, but something like the 25th Hoot or something like that.
It was the 13th summer, and probably this might be the 25th Hoot of all.
You better count it, because 25 is a big round number.
Yeah.
Make hay.
We should release something or something.
Yeah, like a new coaster.
Or a double album.
Like, you're so good at this.
Thank you. A Segway you could drive a truck through, as they say. It's called touch grass, which maybe people who listen to public radio still don't understand that phrase.
Yeah,
but
we've been
the
doing
kids
a lot of
these
explaining.
days do. Tell us why you wanted to call the album Touch Grass.
I wonder if the more you know the phrase, the more you aren't doing the thing.
Right.
And the people who don't know it don't need to know it. But it's a phrase, get outside, touch grass, get off your device, get off your technology. Stop, having heart-to-hearts with a bot, maybe, put your toes in the dirt and ground with Mother Earth a little bit.
I love it.
Simple as that. Something the kids are saying these days.
They
Thank
sure
goodness.
Talk about the differences between volume 1 and 2. It's not interesting to talk about why a double album, but talk about how you chose which one went on which volume.
Well, we recorded over a number of years, didn't totally plan it to be 2 volumes, and then they just, they kind of started picking teams toward the very end. It was like we've got a mellow nighttime record, and then we've got a sort of more on the front foot, pushing ahead daytime energy. The Doldrums, even though it's a song about being bummed out, is on volume 1 because it's kind of an anthem energy.
Definitely.
And, and we might play another volume 1 because it's daytime right now. If we're going to play another tune today, I think it'll also be from that.
Yeah.
But I love the tunes on volume 2. They just have a relaxing energy. They really feel like the evening,
I think when we make a record, we usually record more songs than we need, and it's usually a couple of the mellower tunes that sort of get cut when you're sequencing the album. This time we had enough of both that we just decided they all belong to kind of live together.
I love it.
Yeah.
Between the Mammals double album and Tweedy's triple album, I got a lot of Roots Americana to listen to this weekend.
Love it, yeah.
Let's hear another song from the Mammals, who are playing the Parlor Room in Northampton tomorrow night, sold out, but you can see them in North Adams next Friday at Studio 9 at Porches.
Or, find a friend who got sick and doesn't need their tickets.
Yeah, right?
It's another volume 1 number. This one kicks off the album. It's called Unpopular Ideas, some of our subversive acoustic roots. I'm afraid I have some unpopular ideas. Our health is derived by letting go of fear and eating clean food, breathing clean air. I'm afraid I have some unpopular ideas to share. Some unpopular thoughts. Your government officials are mostly just bought by oligarchic money bags, grinning ear to ear. I'm afraid I have some unpopular ideas right here. That's right. I'm afraid I have just a few thoughts more. Most of your tax dollars get spent on endless war and subsidized oil, subsidized GMO. I'm afraid I have some unpopular ideas, I know. Yeah, I'm afraid I have some unpopular ideas to sing. Big Pharma runs the whole thing, and a for-profit industry don't want you to be well. I'm afraid I have some unpopular ideas to tell. Take a Scott. Tell me about it. I'm afraid I have some unpopular ideas. Let's throw out the screens, all peddle in fear. Go and meet your neighbor and maybe share some food. Finally start that garden, it don't matter if it's good. And go support your farmer on regenerative land. I'm afraid I have some unpopular ideas, my friends. Yeah, I am afraid I have some unpopular ideas. Our health is derived by letting go of fear and eating clean food and breathing clean air. I'm afraid I have some unpopular ideas. I'm afraid I have some unpopular ideas. I'm afraid I have some unpopular ideas to share.
Mammals this Live Music Friday. That song sponsored by Trump Banjos. On the new album, Touch Grass Volume 1, the double album by the Mammals. They'll be celebrating it at the Parlor Room on Saturday the 27th, and they'll be at Studio 9 at Mass Mocha a week from today, next Friday.
How does what you two do as the Mammals duo differ from what you were doing as Mike and Ruthie?
It is a fair question. Really, it's not that different. In fact, we're going to be moving away from Mike and Ruthie, and it's just going to be all things Mammals from here on out. There's going to be Mammals duo shows happening, and Mammals is generally a band. Actually, the fair answer is that the Mammals were known for like real butt-kicking fiddle tunes, right? We'd always intersperse our original material as well. But the fiddle tunes was kind of the through line of the Mammals. And the Mike and Ruthie stuff was a little bit more like you could play a concert in a yoga studio or a house concert, and you could have your 3-year-old on your back during the show. It was more intimate, right? And the Mammals was more for the big main stage festival. But over the years, they've kind of blended into one thing, and now it's just all Mammals all the time. So thank you for asking.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can we hear another song?
Yeah, we'll do a Volume 2 song. How about
Nice.
that?
All right,
It's
yeah,
nighttime all of a sudden.
Dim the
Nighttime.
lights,
Close your
everybody.
eyes.
Sit
I wrote
back,
this
relax.
One, sitting actually outside. I was touching grass when I wrote
Oh, nice.
You guys run a real nice ship here. I just want to say we feel
try.
very relaxed. This is some of the best music we've ever played.
Well, we love you guys.
Thanks for coming.
Slow down and appreciate what's in front of you today, and do less than you've ever done before. 'Cause it's a privilege to be alive, to be you and me this time. Doing good doesn't have to mean do more. So do a little and be a little kinder to the ones who love you. Hear a little and be a little wisdom from beneath and above you. The treetops pulling sun, they're making air for everyone, and the roots holding it down, spreading their love all around. So slow down and appreciate what's right in front of you today. Yeah. Do less than you ever done before. 'Cause it's a privilege to be alive, to be you and me this time. And doing good doesn't have to mean do more.
Beautiful.
All right.
That is nightimey.
Thank you. I closed my eyes.
Touch grassy, too. It definitely feels good. I was envisioning fireflies and all sorts of stuff when I was hearing that one, so I love it.
You were in the right place.
Sent me to a place.
Thanks, Monty.
Tim Morrison, Ruth Unger Miranda, Scott Malisi, Mike Miranda, and Jude Roberts, the Mammals. Thank you so much for coming in and playing for Live Music Friday with us.
We had a blast. You guys really are a lot of fun.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks for continuing to make Western Mass part of your story. Do you want to give like the bonus info we found out about Mike from the Mammals?
Yeah, Mike was one of the original drummers of the band Spouse, who are our theme music creators.
Yeah.
So the musical circle, Let It Be Unbroken.
It's wicked cool.
And then their kids cover 3 Spouse songs.
Which is just the most adorable, awesome thing.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. If you want to hear a bonus song from the Mammals, and who doesn't, check out their podcast for extra mammal stuff and go to freshgrassinstitute.org for more information about their show next week at Studio 9 in North Adams. But Khalees,
yeah,
where are you playing this weekend if people don't remember?
If you come to Garlic and Arts on Sunday in Orange, you can see Extemper play around 2:30. Should be fun. Lots of mathy harmony things. Next week on the Fabulous 413, it's getting colder, so we're cramming our time with outdoor festivities before we can't.
So, we'll check out the Conway Festival of the Hills, celebrating its 25th year of giving out scholarships to local youth.
Although the festival itself is like 60 years old, and we'll also celebrate the 75th anniversary of Hilltown Community Health Center.
We'll see the music being made all across East Hampton for their third annual Porch Fest.
And we'll hear about the visionaries coming to Springfield for the 2025 MLK Family Services Social Justice Awards.
We'll have live music from Creole jazz outfit Sally's Baby Silver Dollars and meet Rochelle Rice before you can hear her stories at Bombix for Tell Her This.
And lots more. I'm Khalees Smith.
I'm Monty Belmonte.
Have a great weekend. Come see us at Garden Arts.